What's up, gamers? I want to show you, give you an update of where I am with my Ice Sorcerer build. Here we are, level 90, and I'm going to do this a little different. Normally I edit my videos and stuff, and I'm just going to leave this completely raw and uncut and try and, explain everything in a little bit bigger depth and detail than I normally do for people that may be watching this thinking about playing Diablo, or maybe they're thinking about starting a Sorcerer for the first time. I get a couple hints and tips and things here and there, but yeah. So currently, I'm gonna start off with a little bit of just gameplay, just a couple, a minute or so of just killing some things, so you guys can kind of see how the build works. I actually watched a video today. The guy just went straight into the build, and I was like, I have no idea, if this even looks like any fun or anything. So I'll show you guys some gameplay real quick, and then we'll go over the gear and the stats and the abilities and the Paragon tree and everything else, and kind of give you an idea of my thought process behind everything, let you guys know what I still am looking for, what I still want to add to the build, and, what I have tried and haven't tried and things of that nature. So we're in a tier 37 nightmare dungeon at level 90 here. I'm just going to try and run through, not make myself look like an idiot by dying, because that does happen on occasion. So I'm going to pop a potion real quick to get my barrier up and going. And more or less I can dash and blizzard. There we go, dash again. So I kind of just kite everything. I blizzard, dash, something like that. The ice shards are continuously. Let me get that real quick. I need all these. Yeah, the build's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. It focuses a lot more on just using blizzard than anything. But you see if the tree goes to take a swing at me, I have to frost nova him, or it'll one-shot me pretty much. So if I could find my way around here, pop my mana shield when I don't have a when I don't have a dash cooldown up or something like that, to try and help me stay alive a little bit when I dash in on accident. You can also do something like this, where we're just kind of kiting. And then we just stand here, right? Hands free, and everything just is taking damage. Pretty nice. As long as it's frozen, Here we go. Here's an elite pack back here. Let's go ahead and just about one-hit him with my Frost Nova. Yeah, so this is kind of the build that we're working with, right? It comes with 5 dashes, which is super fun. 168k there, and just wiped everything out. I believe a lot of the numbers don't even show up. So this is kind of it, right? I just constantly have full mana, constantly running around. If I get in a pinch, something's about to smack me, I just dash to get out of it. But now we can go back through here and see that, the majority of everything died in that little kite session there. So we'll go ahead and recall the town real quick. And here, let me actually try and find one more elite pack. I'd like to find one that's like a couple of elites. That would be kind of nice, just to watch them blow up a little bit, get everything a little bit more rounded up. So we kind of kite, freeze those guys, get rid of the anti-damage dude. As soon as this guy freezes, then he will supposedly die, maybe not. We got a lot of maneuverability to, to keep running around and moving, stay moving, which is kind of the whole thought process behind this. I don't want to stand still. I don't want to go like mainly into ice shards like most of the ice sorcerers do, simply because I don't want to stand still. Like, I don't want to just be there hanging out chilling. Okay, I didn't even use an attack on him. He just died from the blizzard. All right, well, then I died from that because, squishy. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's teleport back real quick. I'll kind of show you guys what I'm working with here. Go in a little bit more detail and explain exactly how it is, what I'm doing, see, this is why I edit videos, bro. My words don't work right most of the time. All right, so first thing first, we're going to start with skills, okay? We got Frostbolt, Ice Shards, Frost Nova, Ice Armor. And then our main skill is pretty much Blizzard and Teleport. So In the enchantment slots, I've got teleport. That's what allows us to have our evades turn into teleports. So we have 4 total evades, and then we also have the chess piece, unique, that turns our teleports into stuns and pull-ins and stuff, which is super nice. And I feel like you really can't have an Ice Sorcerer build, no matter what you're basing it off of, without this enchantment. The Ice Shard enchantment is just so good. It's just absolutely insane. So that's what we're looking at for skills. Real quick, we'll take you through the skill tree. Nothing too crazy in here. I've just got my 3 points in Frostbolt so that I can move on to the next tree. We go with vulnerable damage on the Frostbolt and on the Ice Shards. 5 points into Ice Shards. Keep going down. We go in lucky hit chance. So currently, and I'll show you in a second with my gear, I really want the Ice Spike. I've been looking for a good roll on Ice Spike damage for a staff or a wand. Either way, I'd much rather have a wand, and I'll explain the reason why in a second. But so I've got 5 ranks into teleport with 3 item contribution from my boots, which my boots give me 1, 2, 3. It gives me 3 to all of these, which is pretty nice. So we have those as well. Those are beefed up. We've got glass cannon plus 1 item contribution in there. So we're taking, 24 or 12% increased damage from enemies, but we're also dishing out 24, which is pretty nice. We've got our lucky hit chance increase here. Come down here. So recently I switched to the temerity pants for the barriers. So I'm kind of trying to look for, things that increase damage when you have barriers, because we have like a lot of barrier uptime between temerity as well as our mana shield, ice shield, and I also have another barrier, I do believe. I can't remember what it is, but so we've got cold front for additional chill percentage towards people when I have an active barrier, which is nice. Snap freeze, 3 points in there, and then I've just got the 1 in icy just to get us to those. We had 5 in blizzard. I did have 12 in blizzard, but I decided that, so it was a 20,000 damage increase for over 8 seconds. And unfortunately, blizzard doesn't crit, but ice spikes do, which is why I really want that a good ice spike. I have some ice spike enchants, but they're not good. I'm looking for like a 800 item level plus worthy ice spike enchant. So still waiting on that. My amulet gives +3 to all masteries, so that's why these have points in them. Nothing I put in there, but yeah, just blizzard with the 10% less mana. You could go with the last longer, but to be fair, it lasts to 8 seconds, I believe. And if I'm there longer than 8 seconds, I don't really know why I would be in one spot longer than 8 seconds, but I don't know. I just went with the less mana, just, because I'd rather be able to spam them than have them last longer. And I actually took points out of Frigid Breeze here. If you can afford somehow to fit it in to Frigid Breeze, that would be, nice. Cold damage against vulnerable enemies has a 20% chance to generate 5 mana. But at the same time, it doesn't give us any additional damage. We're looking for big boom, hard slam. If we die, it's our fault type thing. Yeah, so we got Hoarfrost, Icy Touch, and then Permafrost with 1 additional item contribution point in there as well. You can get that 1 point. I believe it may be on a ring or a necklace of mine. You can get it to where it rolls 3, so you can have 30. I think it's 30% additional because it goes up 5% increments. Yeah, so that would be super nice. And then I am running Avalanche. Although I don't have the Blizzard part, I've recently switched everything back to Lucky Hit because I think Avalanche is better than Shatter. I do have a really good Shatter staff, but the staff I have currently is doing work, even though it seems like it's not going to make a whole lot of sense. All right, so I'm going to go from the helmet down. We've got a chance for a crowd control effect to spread to another nearby enemy. I still don't really know if this is worth having or not, but this is an 813 base helmet with cooldown reduction, a lucky hit chance. So it came with this enchant, so I just slapped it on. I've used this pretty much the whole time I've been playing. this affix on this thing for the crowd control the spread, but I don't really know if it makes a huge difference or not, since the glyph that I have increases the range of frost or of blizzard by 20%, so almost everything on the screen gets blizzarded anyway. So I don't know. I don't think it really makes a huge difference. I think I could switch that out with something else if I could find something else. Here's our Reign of the Infinite. 791 item level, decent rolls on it, damage to close, damage to stun, and then there's our glass cannon passive right there. It only rolls a 1. It can't roll any higher. Even if you upgrade it all, it still stays +1 to glass cannon, which kind of sucks. I'm messing with this idea because if you didn't realize, with the Fist of Fate, this has good synergy with Temerity because of a 5% chance to heal your life. And if you don't know, Temerity gives you a barrier for every bit of life that you overheal, in the form of a barrier, and it can be, up to 76% of my actual life. So, like, what, 2,200 more life just in a barrier that lasts 8 seconds. So that's pretty nice, combined with the Fist of Fate and all the lucky hit required stuff. So this is also interesting, too, because I don't run Devouring Blaze, right? But you get a 75% damage increase if you run Devouring Blaze, and this is also something that ties into having ice spikes. So, Devouring Blaze, Blizzard itself does not proc the burn that you get from using the Firebolt enchant. What does proc the burn is the ice shards that shoot off of me after they have frozen. That will burn them, but by that point, it's too late. I want them to burn before they freeze, right? I want Blizzard to just burn them when it hits them, but it doesn't. So that's where that Ice Spike is going to come in, because that Ice Spike does trigger that burn you get from the Firebolt enchantment. And then, you use Devouring Blaze to increase your damage burning enemies take by like 25%. And then if they're also immobilized, which technically I think the only way to actually immobilize something is with a Meteor spell, this is also a 25% chance to immobilize people. And I wasn't sure if it actually just immobilized them, but yes, it does. And ever since I put this back on, I've been paying close attention to, like, when I hit an enemy, it'll pop above his head and say immobilized. So it's not a guaranteed chance, obviously, but it does work, and it does proc, and it does happen. So, I mean, potentially if you're fighting a elite that's taking forever to kill or something like that, you could that have that 75% damage increase boost using the Fist of Fate. So, all right. Anyway, Temerity, it's kind of a best in slot for most any end-game builds, I would think, just simply because, things hit a whole lot harder the higher you go up the Nightmare scale. If you're doing, Nightmare tier 100s and everything's 154 to 160 level, this is gonna hopefully help save your life. My boots, still the same as my previous video that I made like 5 days ago. These boots are stupid. Like, I want to get rid of them. I want them to just go away. Like, I kind of want them to just go away so that I can start looking for, upgrades for something else. Pretty much, I would like for them to go away, but I really want that max evade charges, so that I can have my crazy mobility, because I'm a little bit obsessed with it right now. That's another thing, too, is if I end up getting Blizzard Ice Spikes, I'm going to have to get rid of my Dash enchant, which I don't really want to do. I'm just in love with the movement and the pull-ins and, the quick CC and everything from the dashes. It's just, I'm obsessed with it, to be fair. But this, yeah, Frost Nova Teleport, Ice Armor, all that's +3. Kind of a waste, I guess, at this point. Because ranks to teleport is going to do anything but reduce the cooldown. Same thing with Ice Armor and Frost Nova. You really want your cooldown to be reduced on Frost Novas if you can. But I think I could live with only having ranks to Frost Nova on these boots, and the other two not so much. And I believe I have a yellow pair of boots that only have Frost Nova on them. So maybe something in the future if I can find a good legendary imprint to put on them. But yeah, these are getting a little old at this point. All right, so this staff I found before I even read the legendary. I started from the top, right? 2686 DPS, which is the highest DPS I've ever seen on a staff. It's item level 815. fully upgraded, obviously. And it came with core skill damage, which would be our ice spikes, which I thought, or ice shards, which, you know, at least it's not basic skill damage. I was fine with it being core, because I'm pretty sure that scales with the ones that bounce off of me and go to frozen enemies type of thing. So 54% vulnerable damage on the roll. I've been trying to get closer to that 70.5, but I think I'm on like 15 million gold for a enchantment roll right now on the staff, so I don't think it's gonna happen, man. Because I don't know if I can dump another freaking 10 million or whatever into the staff to try and get a better roll. But damage to frozen enemies, 165 intellects, a good, just a good base roll. So, but the ice shards pierce 8 times, dealing 12% less damage per subsequent enemy hit. So, more or less, what's going to happen with this is it's going to proc. The ice shards are going to pierce, and say I pierce them and I hit 3 people. The second and the third guy, it decides it wants to ricochet off of because they're frozen. So it like this combined with the ricochet, enchant, and everything else, potentially, especially if the thing that you're shooting doesn't die, you're just gonna see just like ice shards all over the place. But this, in my brain, is not a good enchant to have on a staff. I literally took it for the just attack. I do have a Shatter Key passive max roll staff as well, playing around with that. Didn't really see any huge benefit to running Shatter Key. The only huge benefit to running Avalanche is that we get free casts based off our lucky hit chance percentage. So, I really want either a wand or a staff with the Blizzard Ice Spikes. And the reason I want the wand, if you don't know, on one-handers, and I'll show you in my bank here real quick, on one-handers you get lucky hit chance percentage. So on two-handers you get crowd control damage, right? Right there underneath the attacks per second, you'll see it says, it has a base of 52.5% damage to crowd control enemies. And your staff can actually roll damage to crowd control enemies as well. So you get like upwards of 120, 100 to 120% damage to crowd control enemies, which is good because that's like a blanket term for stunned, chilled, slowed, frozen. That covers all the bases. So you'll be doing that increased 100 whatever percent damage to everything. But on a wand, you get lucky hit chance percent in place of the crowd control damage. So it's a hard decision, to be fair. Do you go two-hander? Do you go one-hander? You also get, on your offhand, you get cooldown reduction. So it's kind of a hard toss-off. Do you take lucky hit chance and cooldown reduction? Or do you go with just, pure 100% increased damage from crowd control enemies? So I guess ultimately I would like a staff, because see, here's my Shatter Key 80% max roll on this Shatter Key staff, but I just didn't like it too much. I've got some high roll yellows over here, 810, 812, 813, 802. Just kind of waiting for a good thing to come along. This is where I keep all of my 800 plus item level things. I'm just coming back to. These are all my ancestrals that I've gotten over the course of this playthrough so far. It's very sad that I get all these electricity staffs and these fire staffs and this fire wand, but there is no ancestral unique for cold for whatever reason. I don't friggin' know why, but and it could be because there's boots and pants, or hands and pants, I guess, or whatever, and boots technically with the chill damage. And I might end up switching to the chill damage. It just sucks that I don't get my frost nova roll on these, because I have an 800 item level roll right here with 10% more chill damage. So I don't know what would be better, this or what I've got currently. But all right, so on the amulet we've got damage to immobilized and stunned, which could be a better roll. This is an old imprint that I put on here. Real quick tip too, if you did not know, trying to separate what's imprinted and what's not. On the orange text, for instance, on this double Frost Nova enchant here, it literally just has a star and then says Frost Nova. But if it's something that you've enchanted or you've imprinted already up from a yellow, it'll literally say imprinted right there. So a little tiny tip for people that might not have caught on to that yet, because I didn't until about 2 days ago. So also, anything that is imprinted, if it's a legendary that is imprinted, you can actually change the imprint on it to a different thing, right? Like if I wanted to change these boots that have 48% chance for the crowd control effect to spread, I wanted to change the boots to this immobilize, stun, frozen enemy thing. I could, disenchant this and I could put it on these boots and it will overlay over top of the lucky hit crowd control thing and replace it with the new one. So cool little tip, I guess, for anybody that cares. Anyway, on to the next thing. We went over skills. We went over my gear, play style, gameplay, all that good stuff. I'm going to show you guys my Paragon board real quick and try to explain it as best I can and as quick as I can. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost 8 level 15 glyphs here. I'm kind of trying to just power level all my glyphs up to 15 just so that I got a little bit more freedom to test and try things here. But currently we've got the control glyph socket here, which is going to give us 20% increased damage to stunned or frozen, which is really where we wanted to be at. Yeah, they get 10% more to chilled or slowed, but I don't care about that as much as I care about the 20% increased stunned or frozen. We also get 88% damage to crowd control enemies, and I believe that is because of these blue nodes here. Yeah, so yeah, we get having control in this slot is the best option that I could find. I went through and I did the math of how much dexterity, how much intellect, how much willpower, how much strength are in each one of these glyph areas on every board, and I tried to place them all in the spot that could get the most benefit, right? So this one scales off dex. I've got all the dex in this triangle, which is 39, which sadly is the most that you can get dexterity-wise out of any board that requires dexterity. So if you ever see anything that's like, for instance, right here, it says for every 5 dexterity purchase within range, you deal 11% increased damage to crowd control targets. So every 5 additional, so 25 is the requirement, so 30, 35. So I do 10% additional whatever. You understand what I'm saying. There's really not, there's not 50 dexterity in a diamond shape that you could take more advantage of this damage to crowd control enemies. 39 is the biggest that I found out of all the boards. So over here on the right, we've got the Icefall board, which gives us a barrier every time we kill a frozen enemy, which is super, super good, especially for later in the game. I wouldn't worry about this board too much until you start getting, like 70, 80, 90 maybe. If you start having trouble dying, this will kind of help keep you alive. Especially if you also have, temerity and everything else that gives you barriers. All the barriers stack, I think. Don't quote me on that, but we had this conversation last night on stream. And, yeah, we think they all stack. So, anyway, yeah. Missing a couple willpower for this one to actually work. I did not realize that. That's interesting. I knew I was missing some dex from this one, but apparently I still need to find some willpower and some dexterity for these 2 rare nodes to work all the way. We're missing out on some damage there, and this one's really not actually that big a deal, to be fair. This one I don't even really need. I just came up here to get the dexterity, I think. But I do definitely need the willpower for that one. But anyway, exploit for vulnerable damage increase on that side, level 15. And then we've got Unleash here, which after spending 50 mana, you do 7% increased damage and gain 7% increased mana regeneration. So I'm testing this one right now. I feel like maybe there's another one out there that could be better. And with that being said, there's one that I'm leveling up right now that I think would be kind of nice to have here, and it's Tactician. You deal 10% increased damage for 4 seconds after casting a defensive skill. So if you don't know, teleport, mana shield, fire shield, and frost nova are all defensive skills. So 10% increased damage for 4 seconds. I don't know if that stacks or if it just remains a 10% solid increase as long as you're, continuously casting all those. But just a solid 10% damage increase is not a bad idea at all. So I might be trying this tactician out a little bit. I still have some blue glyphs over here. I'm not 100% sure like why I haven't found the yellows yet, but supposedly the word on the street is you can only get them from Nightmare dungeons from World Tier 3, which is why I haven't gotten them, because I have ran like over 500 or 600 Nightmare dungeons since I've been in World Tier 4, and these are the same 5 I was missing when I left World Tier 3, so I don't know if that's a bug. I'm going to have to go run some World Tier 3 Nightmare dungeons, which I'm not going to be able to do successfully very good because I need big, groups of people to not die very quickly, so in order to make this work. But anyway, mastery skill damage from the Adept glyph. So this is going to give our Blizzard more damage, and it's going to give our Blizzard more area of effect. I don't really know if this is really worth it. I'm not going to be able to tell until I get Blizzard ice spikes on the staff is when I really feel like this thing's going to shine, because I have a feeling it's going to increase the damage of those ice spikes, and those ice spikes can crit too, and they can crit as hard as ice shards do. So which might, eventually lead to me being able to get rid of the ice shard enchantment and go with the burn, which would be super sick. If I could get rid of ice shards, period, that would be epic, because then I could go firebolt, and then I could go teleport and firebolt and burn everything and blow everything up and immobilize everything, and it would just be a great time. Yep. But I'm like I said, I'm level 90. I don't know how many levels we get. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe four Paragon points per level. So 4 and 10. I still got 40 points left to get. So I've got plenty of place to put them and things to use them on. All these are cold resistance. Now this potion healing, I've actually thought about this and considered this. I think this potion healing would go really good while using Temerity, the pants that give us a barrier, because this will do nice at overhealing us a little bit to give us a bigger health shield. But I don't know, just an idea. Let me know in the comments, guys, if you guys got anything else somewhat similar to my build. Like I said, I haven't based this off of any other person's build. I've built this from the ground up. So many different tested trials and errors with fire and lightning and ice and everything, and just trying to find something cool to show you guys that maybe you didn't know. But I'm also still in the learning process too, so feel free to drop some comments down below, or join us live tonight. We're going to be live on YouTube from 8 to 11 Central Standard Time. I'm live every night from 8 to 11, but I bounce back and forth between TikTok and YouTube. But tonight we'll be on YouTube live, so come stop by if you want to chat about it. I absolutely love talking Diablo builds and stuff with people, and I'm constantly learning stuff every day, so I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you'll learn something, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Yeah, peace out.